This car must not be scrapped for the owner in this situation, because he wants to pass this car on to his descendants. He came to repair this kind of rollover accident car. For experienced sheet metal masters, it is a piece of cake. First, they need to remove the damaged front windshield, and then the masters can repair the deformed roof. In order to repair the deformed position, they skillfully install the threaded top crosswise. If the roof is bumpy, the machine uses professional techniques to repair the deformed position. They also need to use the Rowan top to try to correct the deformed position of the pillar that is deformed in the front. For the longitudinal beam and frame that are deformed in the front, they also need to use the Rowan top to support it, and then pass the process master, because the weight deformation on the left is too serious. In order to correct it, they need to remove the suspension that is in the way first. Then they can use the threaded top to support the deformed tower top. The top of the tower is then expanded outward through the threaded top. Because the weight is very hard, the masters use more correction equipment. If you want to correct it, they need to use the sledgehammer to heat it and use the sledgehammer to continuously hit the deformed position. To correct the deformed position of the tower top, they also need to use the gantry and the chain to assist in correcting the deformed tower top. For the position of the fold, the masters can use the small hammer to pierce and repair the deformed position. After several hours of correction, the frame was finally repaired. Next, the masters need to repair the severely deformed tail. First, the masters need to use the universal luo wending to support the deformed position. After correcting the general outline to O2, they can only use the small hammer to continuously hit and repair the deformed position bit by bit. The rear tail plate of the tail is deformed. They can use the chain to stretch it by heating it. The hardness is reduced to reduce the difficulty of repair. Although this process is time-consuming, but under the skilled operation of the master, the tail has been repaired in one day. Next, the rear tailgate of the dismantled car can be installed in place. Because the deformation of the pillar and the roof is too serious, there is no high-end correction equipment. These hanging chains and threaded tops cannot correct it. Therefore, they need to cut off the deformed roof. Although the tools they use are relatively simple when cutting, the overall efficiency is still very fast. In order to improve the strength of the roof, they did not directly repair it this time, but replaced a dismantled car roof. When installing the roof, they need to cut the inappropriate position. Although they do not have high-end gas-shielded welding, but contact welding, the amazing master is still very fast when using chin welding. After 2 days of correction, the whole car body is corrected, and they can install these external accessories in place. There are still a lot of such models in their possession. They almost use second-hand accessories for some body parts. When installing these accessories, it is very fast the position where these boards pass. Speed up and find comments. The inside of the car body needs to be sprayed with a layer of base muscle to prevent rust from appearing later. After the rear bumper is installed, you can see that the gap at the rear is still handled very well. In order to speed up the maintenance efficiency, the masters have a very clear division of labor during assembly. The master in the front is installing the chairboard, and the masters in the back are installing the rear windshield. After installing the front headlights, they can then install the bumper in place. For the uneven positions of the car body, they need to scrape the leveling putty on the map and then slowly polish the putty to make it smooth. This automatic car has a lot of internal limits. The master needs to sort out the number of lines during installation and then install the workbench in place. Although there are many parts in the interior, the experienced masters are still relatively fast in installation. The entire interior is assembled very quickly. Then they can, although they don't have a high-end lift when installing the engine, but they have engine and machine. The whole car was finally assembled. The next step was to spray the base machine and the color machine. Since they did not have high-end protective equipment, the master was not panicked at all when spraying. The spraying of paint was completed very quickly. What do you think of the repair skills of the masters? How many rupees will be charged for such a serious repair?